Well, I have to start this video all over again because I don't know what the fuck's going on with my stupid ass computer and whatnot. But I just want to give my own thoughts on where I think this epidemic, well, not even epidemic, this so-called biohazard bullshit. I don't like using the word. I'm not gonna use COVID-19 or coronavirus. I'm just basically gonna say bullshit. For years, I've been telling you people out here, get yourselves ready. Always be prepared for any and everything because it's coming. I've been saying this shit for years. People in the Zeitgeist list been warning you guys. Professor Griff, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Dick Gregory, God rest his soul. So many people for years, even before they passed, while we were young, growing up, people always told you about propaganda, the media, the government, on how they play the catch-22 and the victim, and they act like they're so for you and this, that, and the third. That is hypocrisy at its finest. Fascism, propaganda, false flagging. Because you cannot tell me that the government wasn't behind the Boston bombing, the World Trade Center, almost everything, including killing off their own president and his brother, and failed attempt at Ted Kennedy as well as killing off, JFK Jr. I have my own thoughts and people can say, oh man, people like y'all crazy with, these, people look at people who they consider conspiracy theorists. I don't really believe in conspiracies. I just personally think that shit happens for a reason, and I'm smart enough to know that Madoff didn't kill himself. I'm smart enough to know that it ain't no way in hell the government didn't know about 4 airplanes missing out the Boston airport and they have no way to respond to it. I don't believe that bullshit. That's like sitting here telling me that all Caucasians on this planet right now, especially in the U.S., have benefited positively over what their ancestors have done in the past. Of course they have. Every Caucasian, even though some may be poor white trash, some may be regular individuals that have just as much significance as us blacks out here, or whatever, for whatever reasons. At the end of the day, they still benefit from their predecessors. We, on the other hand, have not benefited. We've gotten a couple of things, but at the same time, we're still being hunted down and killed. People of color all over, whether you're dealing with the Greeks and stuff, on how they dealing with, Africans over there right now. I mean, it's just so much shit, so much nasty shit going on in the world that is just maliciously disgusting. And, shit like this what that hit the fan back in 2016. So you basically had almost 4 years of peace when you think about it. I guess they felt they weren't ready to make everybody else ready. You had a lot of sites you can go to that are no longer available or up or even exist right now to this point, when they were, when you could look through satellite images and you can see coffins that FEMA had in certain locations that they held and had over 400,000 coffins at one time. Not only are they not there anymore, but a lot of these places don't exist no more, and you can't get to it and see the satellite feeds, as well as Area 51. They've been quietly disbanding that and getting rid of that for the longest. And not only China but the world have been trying to find a way to depopulate the population. So I personally know, I ain't gonna say I think, I know that this is some kind of biological warfare, especially due to the fact that it's on a pandemonium of it being global, being that it's a worldly issue. Not just a U.S. issue. I'm not going to sit here and say that it didn't start and it wasn't created by people here and abroad who have power over everybody, because I know better. I just know that they've done it, and they what they've been trying to do for years, they have found a success because of what's going on, and they're trying to kill off a lot more of the poor and poorly populated, and kill off intricate, insignificant individuals in third world countries and places that there's really no economic growth or any kind of economic reasoning for not giving a shit if these individuals pass or don't pass. I mean, think about it. Italy is, a very old country, but think about it. How much importing and exporting comes from there? How much global financial gain that the U.S. and their brother and sister in people or groups or corporations can really gain from Italy when you think about it. Why you think that was one of the countries that, they have broadcast, I mean, socially, on a social math of craziness on how they just, already put them under. Now, let's face it, quarantine is another term of just saying martial law. They don't want to, use pandemonium and have a whole bunch of rednecks and straight blacks and everybody get together and say, all right, now y'all starting this shit, let's do it. I mean, think about it. They've been really trying to push the gun laws and everything for the longest. So this way, when they do have martial law and they command the militaries to try to come into your homes, you don't really have a way to fight back. And let's face it, they're going to have like 4 or 5 soldiers knocking on your doors, God forbid. But if it ever gets to that point, they're going to have at least half a squad of people. They're going to have almost a whole platoon outside of each home. Or maybe, 12 or so men per, like between 2 houses. While they're going to have heavily armed, heavily acquitted individuals maybe busting in and or knocking on people's doors, dragging them out and testing them and forcing entry and stuff. You never know. And you're going to have a lot of people scared, screaming. You may have a lot of gunshots. I mean, it may be crazy. You know what I'm saying? And, again, they may just decide to shut down corridors. And when I say that, I mean, like, look at the Eastern Corridor, how they did with the blackouts. They got generators. They can set up posts in major areas to cut off. Think about it. Like where I live at right now in East Orange. You have a couple of ways you have to get in and out of town. And they can strategically set up their military to keep you in your own township. Like East Orange, you have a couple of major ways you can go to get to Montclair, Nutley, Bloomfield, and going toward Newark, even going toward Orange itself or South Orange and West Orange. If they keep everybody away from each other from being able to get in and out or communicate, and if they do knock down TVs and stuff because they were actually saying that they might stop broadcasting television and whatnot. So what's going to be your media outlet? Your phone? Like, they can actually put whatever they want on that. And that's if they decide to split that information. What's to stop you, or what's to let you know when this is going to be over? Is it the better or the worst part of it? Are they going to quarantine people to the fact that when you get so sick, they're going to have quarantine tents set up in each and every township or borough or village or, like I said, township or whatnot, to where they won't even allow you to go to the hospital because at the end of the day, doctors may do everything to save your life, but they get to the point where they're just going to decide certain people in certain areas may be disposable. You guys can look at a lot of movies and think about it. It can happen, and it may happen. You never know. But I told you people up here. I told you guys up here. Even when I used to be on people's shows, and I always got bored of sitting here and hearing people talk about the latest sideshow and Hot Toys and XM, and everybody want to come up here and try to prove that they got more than everybody else because they can go out there and spend $2 or $3 grand on a stupid ass statue that it arrives broken, or there's this and that to it. At the end of the day, can you protect yourself? At the end of the day, God forbid, if you pass away, can your family put you in the ground, or are you gonna have to go to YouTube and start some kind of fund? Some kind of GoFundMe to get people to help put you in the ground or send you to wherever so you can be cremated? Or is your family gonna have to struggle for money to put you in the ground because you spend too much money on insignificant bullshit? I'm a family man of 5, include myself, obviously. You know, right now my daughter, you know, supposed to be graduating this year, and that may just basically be a stain, like so many other individuals that basically supposed to be graduating this year, including kids from high school. You know, you got people that have weddings planned this month, next month, the month after, and you have so many social events. You got fights, and everything is canceled now because of this. So you have to ask yourself. Everybody's like, oh, you know, the government's telling you. At first, they had the media spread this pandemonium, this hysteria, because you know, people are sheep. A lot of you people out there are just, you know, blind sheep that keeps following the fucking herd. And then every time you idiots go out there and get butchered, you cry, bitch, moan about getting half shaved, and you nearly make it, you know, you barely make it back from the slaughterhouse unscathed. I'm not sheep. I'm already I'm in a whole different category. That's the reason why so many people up here don't watch my videos, leave thumbs up, or even like me, because I'm a threat. I'm an alpha male. I'm a nigga from the hood. I'm a militant black motherfucker that happens to be highly intelligent. And again, I've been telling you motherfuckers about this for years. I'm not gonna say it was gonna be a virus, but I always knew about the force flagging. You know, people, oh, the government won't do that. Why the government won't do that to you? You're that fucking important to where the government wants to kiss your ass and do for you because you're white, or because you're privileged and you have statues and you have a couple dollars in your pocket. And what the fuck does that mean? You got people out here who own multi-million-dollar corporations and companies that they shut down and telling them, yo, you can have food delivered to these motherfuckers, but you cannot open your doors after a certain time. Movie theater owners, it's getting to the point now, even I forgot what country it is, to where they already stop mortgages. They have companies, because nobody's gonna be there to make money, and it's not fair that you need or want people to pay for their houses. How they gonna do that if you're telling them that they can't go to work, and or they have no sustainable income other than a job that may be shut down? And now with the Dow and Wall Street and the stocks being ridiculous for over a week and a half, almost 2 weeks now, the shit's been plummeting, getting worse and worse. So a lot of people's 401k plans are fucked up. The whole world economic shit is fucked up. But to the powerful and the rich, it doesn't matter to them, because they get what's called subsidy. It doesn't matter. You know, they're good. They're always going to be good. And yes, you know, maybe they want people to feel a little comfortable because certain, you know, they want people to feel that nobody's immune to this. Or, you know, because some famous people are coming forward saying that they have the virus. And we all might have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean, come on. It's an airborne biological weapon of destruction, supposedly. You know, that's why you have to ask yourself why they want people to be in certain groups. They don't want you to be around certain amounts of people. So if that's the case, if people have been dying for they've been dying for over 2.5 weeks now. Let me tell you, a lot of us may already have it and test positive for it, if that's what you want to call it. If you want to call it the COVID-19, or you want to call it the fucking coronavirus, I don't know what to call it. I don't know where it came from, how it started. I just know that for me, I find it very suspicious that China's been trying to depopulate their land for fucking over 15 to 20 something years. That's the reason why they put a cap a couple of years ago over people and told them, yo, you can only have one child, and if you wanted more children, you have to get a permit for it. I mean, it gets to the point in Japan and China, they, you know, once a person dies, you can put them in the ground for a year, and after a year, you have to dig up your fucking family remains and cremate it. That's how overpopulated they are. And it's funny how after Agent Orange, aka we already know who he is, he signed all this shit with China, and now all of a sudden, as he do that and it becomes public and local, now all of a sudden, you know, this so-called, they're trying to, you know, sit here and brainwash you dumbass sheep and having y'all believe that, oh yeah, the coronavirus started in China because they eat bats and everything. These motherfucking, them Chinese been eating crazy shit for fucking centuries, man. For eons. Now all of a sudden, they spread it with the virus. Like, you can't be that naive and that fucking stupid. They're already locking up a whole bunch of individuals and people over here in the States and abroad from what they claim they may have something to do with this so-called virus. How the fuck they can't find Jerome and Taquan and Billy and Bob? They can't find where they put their labs, where they put their meth labs, or where these motherfucking murderers. They can't find them, but they can find every fucking body that's involved in all of these other terrorist acts. So you mean to tell me you can't find a regular neighborhood idiotic motherfucking murderer who might not even have a 7th grade fucking education? You can't find him. But you can go abroad and you can find each and every biochemist and individual that may or supposedly have something to do with this terrorist activity. And if you do find people, you find them because you guys put them up to it and had them do it. And now you need scapegoats to take the fall for it. Because let's face it, this country and other countries have no problem putting their soldiers and other people under the bus. Why do you think whenever they train you to always read off your serial number if you get captured in court, behind enemy lines? But at the same time, the shoe was on the other foot. They be the first ones squealing and crying over here to say, please come get me, please come get me. They're hypocrites, man. Fashionism to the fullest. Hypocrisy. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. And again, I've been trying to tell you motherfuckers out there for years. Y'all always sitting here want to be comfortable, sit down in your pajamas and your t-shirts and talking about the greatest statue and 1/6 scale and this, that, and the third and that crazy motherfucker. Yeah, y'all never want to hear what I have to say, because let me tell you something. The truth hurts, and a lot of y'all are pussy-ass motherfucking scared little bitches. And now y'all realize shit is really hitting the fan. Y'all see a whole bunch of people, regardless on age, race, or where they come from, fighting over dumb shit. And then they sit here and they start all this pandemonium, mayhem, and propaganda and hysteria, so they can get people to go out there and spend money and buy. And now, I guess somebody advised the president, yo, listen, we really need to... I personally think there's some other shit going on outside of this. I just think this is the beginning of some crazy shit that's about to happen. That's what I personally think. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Doesn't mean it's not. I've been sitting here having personal thoughts on everything that led up to right now and to why it's a global event. I mean, come on. Why would our agencies, why would they officially come out on national television now all of a sudden? Of course, we're probably God knows how many months or weeks late from it anyway. But now all of a sudden you're basically saying it's a state of emergency, and it's something you can't see or fight. You're talking about a virus. You're talking about something that's invisible to you. Something that it basically breathes in the air. And of course, what better time than around when it gets warm? Because let's face it, the majority of people catch things in flu season. What is flu season? Flu season is fall and spring season. Those two seasons are huge bronchial, asthma, and airborne virus seasons. Always fall and always fucking spring. So some of y'all always sit back like, this nigga think he know everything. I don't, I learned, and I'm smart enough to follow people when it comes to understanding how shit works, and shit it's just fucking common sense. You don't have to believe in the Bible, the Torah, the Quran to know that it's wrong to touch your daughter or your son in an improper way. And it's wrong to put your hands on your wife, or it's wrong to sit there and rape or kill your mother or your father. That's just fucking human. That's not even human. That's just... Animals know better than that. That's just intellect. You understand? And if you have that kind of common sense, how you don't have you have common sense to know how to drive and know your angles on how to park and come out of a parking lot and come out of a parking space, get into one, and how to walk in and out of this place without bumping into somebody. It's all common knowledge and common sense. Doesn't mean that only humans do it, because animals do it too. I mean, they don't drive, but come on. I've been sitting here dropping knowledge with you motherfuckers for years. It's 2020. I've been doing this shit up here for over 13 years. And y'all all sat back. Oh, I don't like him because he talk about hot toys. He don't like the Hot Toys company. He don't like Sideshow. I can't like him. Yeah, I don't like the nigger neither, man. I don't like him neither because he talks about the stuff I buy. Boo hoo hoo. How dare him talk about these companies? Why would he do that? That's so wrong. Oh, I'm not gonna like him because of that. Y'all some child little bitch ass motherfuckers, man. I'm saying it for what it is, man. And y'all don't like me because I'm a straight up G. I'm a straight up nigga that tell it for what the fuck it is. I always been one of the only and first motherfuckers. Not Clipper King, not nobody else. I was the first one to come up here and talk about these companies that all y'all motherfuckers hated me over, and now all y'all ass kissing, two-faced motherfuckers done sold off all y'all shit because y'all knew this nigga was right. And y'all doing it with every company, whether it's statues and figures. At the end of the day, me and mine gonna be alright. You know what I'm saying? Me and mine gonna be alright. And for those out there who like, yo, I'm ready now. Can you help me out? No, it's too late for that. I ain't helping nobody's shit. I mean, I feel bad for people out there, but you know what? Sometimes I smirk to the I told you so. Just like when you see a motherfucker driving stupid and you like, look at this fucking clown. They almost bump into you, and in your mind, you know you praying, Lord, please let this motherfucker get into an accident. And I've had that happen a couple times where I've got out the car. I didn't ask the person when they were right. I got out the car and ran right up to their window and laughed at their fucking face and say, serves you right. Good for your ass. And I get in the car and book. I don't care if they heard or not. Hey, you did that shit to yourself. Why would I show some kind of fucking sympathy for you when you caused that to yourself? You know, just like for instance, people that get hooked on drugs and they run around crying about they homeless. I mean, you know, like if you're a homeless person and you fucked up, and I can tell you, at least to me, you seem fucked up. You ask me for a quarter or something to drink, I'm not gonna deny you. I'm not gonna lecture you or anything like that, because at the end of the day, you know what you did wrong, and whatever happened to you because you had something to do with that. So the last thing you need for me to sit here and be God, jury, and judge, because I don't want nobody to judge me and shit like that. So that's that. You did that to yourself, but you know what? If I can help out, no problem. But at the end of the day, you doing shit you knew you had no business doing. I'm like, oh well. I tell my kids that all the time. Now, when you're doing something that's like, for instance, a motherfucker that's running around climbing and doing dumb shit, and you fall and bust your ass, like people who do stunts and dumb shit, you know, when it comes to like rollerblading and skateboarding and biking, when they fuck up their mouth or break a jaw and lose teeth and shit, I'm like, oh well, it's part of, it is what it is. Why would I feel sorry for you because you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing? But hey, it makes you better. But you know, there's no such thing as being a better crackhead or dope fiend or nothing. But you know, a lot of people think that life is, you know, like they're more important than life and shit. So hey, I'm gonna try this because everybody else is doing it. But then when they get hooked on it, they get fucked, and now all of a sudden their whole life is behind them because you did something you know you shouldn't have had no business doing. And of course, that's no different than what's going on now with this biological warfare that's popping. Because, you know, I ask myself all the time, what's going on? Like, why are they trying to, what are they trying to hide? Like, is there a meteor coming to this earth now, and they want to keep people in hysteria and keep people away from the truth? Is there some other shit that's behind this? I mean, are they going to start implementing some type of shit in the atmosphere? Like some kind of catastrophic worst strand of what's going on in the atmosphere? And they just want it, and come. I mean, woo! I got so much information and so much shit in my head that I'm back talking and I'm stuttering about it. I'm exhausted, but at the same time, I'm entertaining myself by staying awake because I just want people to understand. Yo, you know, if shit hit the fan, there's a good chance they might just start knocking down. You know, once they start getting rid of the television to where you can't, you know, that there's no broadcasting and no news of what's going on, that's basically a blackout. That's a media blackout. And, you know, we all know that the media is for the man, not for you. Media has, you know, and with socialization, why you think that the feds have been squeezing the owner of Facebook? Since 2007, the feds been trying to close down Facebook and get Facebook not only to work for them, but sell off the Facebook program to the feds because they didn't want nobody to have that kind of social media platform Because if you notice, you see what happens when parents beating up their kids and vice versa, rapes and this, that, and third, and how law enforcement, what law enforcement is doing to people, and people put it. It's very easy for people to put it on their phone and or put it on social media so you can see what's going on. Because back in the day when I was growing up, you had to have witnesses, and a whole shitload of convincing witnesses and or pictures and stuff to show police brutality so you can have a case. Now, social media is so backed up that even with that, they want, the system backlogged it to where now you have to have more than just videotape proving that officers did this and that. But if you walk into a fucking 7-Eleven or a Target and you decide to steal a fucking pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards or a pack of Tic Tac gum or something like that, that's enough to convict you. But they show a cop shooting or beating the hell out of somebody in a way they shouldn't, or put them in an illegal chokehold, they may be disciplined, but they won't get disciplined publicly, which they should be disciplined publicly. But they do it in the department to where you don't have the knowledge of what's going on, which you should be allowed to know what's going on. And at the same time, they may still be given the opportunity, which 90% of them are given the opportunity to retire and or resign and still get benefits, as long as they do that. And they do this shit because, let's face it, a lot of police unions are set up to protect their corrupt cops and shit. Because let's face it, you have more corruption in the judicial system, the court system, than you have convicts locked the fuck up all out through the world. And do I trust the government? No, I do not. I dislike the government. I don't trust the government. I don't like none of their alphabet agencies. I don't even like local law. I don't trust any of them. I teach my children, even my 11-year-old, not to trust police. I told him plenty of times, a police officer pull you and call you until you come here, if they don't go into the school where there's cameras and where there's principals and people that can help protect you and or will have a general idea of calling me or your mom to let us know what's going on, you don't just walk up to no policeman's vehicle, because anybody can have a badge. But even if somebody pull out a badge and an ID, does not mean that they won't grab you. And I've been telling my kids that for years, even my older kids. And now look, you have all these police officers coming out the blue with this human fucking trafficking, and that don't just mean that they part of child pornography, and human trafficking. That means a lot of them must have also held children and people and young ones and stuff at their against their will, and took them to people that keep them in facilities to do these kind of sexual acts and stuff. And these are people that have shields, who takes an oath and gets sworn in to protect you. So if they can do that, what's to stop a higher government official that's over local law, which are or National Guard? What's to stop them from doing that? Because let's face it, a lot of military go overseas and do a lot of horrendous shit, and they figure and they rationalize, all right, well, fuck it. It ain't my country, and, I'm here to do a job, and you can't trust these motherfuckers. In the same way they do that overseas, they get brought into that bullshit even over here in the States, because they have orders, and it's like, oh, well, better you than me. So, you got to ask yourself, like, what's popping? If they can sit here, everything they do test runs. Everything the government do that's against us and against our will and the way of life is no fucking different than them setting you up for entrapment. Except they basically get idiots to entrap themselves by creating hysteria and panic. Because you have to ask yourself, how many of us truly have this so-called... how many of us really test positive for something? If it's already global, that means it's airborne. So if it's airborne and global, how many weeks to a month before this fucking orange idiot and his goons of jackasses decided to go up and make it public? So, by the time they done it, it's already too late. And then he was seen with the prime minister, the prime minister of Brazil, and he's tested positive. So why he didn't test positive then? Then it took him, over a day? All of a sudden, he's the first fucking person that it takes him over a day to come up with the fucking to come up with this bullshit ass lying thing. So you automatically know that he got it, which means it backfired. Cause let's face it, sometimes when the devil does things, it's no different than a motherfucker robbing a bank, and he gets so greedy and so stupid and naive and have no knowledge of what the fuck he or she's doing. Then they wonder why the fucking ink pouches busted on them when they go to open up the bag of money. You see what I'm saying? You gotta feel me and understand where I'm going with this stuff, y'all. You know, some people out there know that, yo, this nigga always been on point, and I speak the truth. I never got props for it. I have people who use my material, like, Clipper King, I got nothing against you, my dude, but at the end of the day, you know as well as I do, I was the first and only person up here that was talking about Hot Toys and Sideshow, where they were and what they doing as a company. And if everybody keep going along with it, their price is going to get more and more obscured, more and more higher, and they're going to give less and less quality. And even to this day, they still making garbage. And now you got idiots buying custom fucking statues for a couple of grand that are coming busted up and broken. And then you can see the anger and shit in their face, and they're like, oh, well, I'm not really liking this, but this is that. I'm like, then you wonder why motherfuckers are taking your money. I mean, people are stupid. People are dumb. Everybody want to sit there and prove it. I always come up here and try to help y'all niggas, man. I was one of the first motherfuckers to sit up here and be straightforward, truthful. And the thing is, people don't like the truth. People like you to kiss their ass and pat them on the back and be like, oh, everything's going to be alright. Nah, I'm the nigga that's going to be like, yo, listen, if I can help save your ass by giving you straight facts, because at the end of the day, it's not even just about you. What about your family? What about your loved ones and your little ones or your grandparents, your parents? You need to have a lot more knowledge than sitting down on the computer worrying about what So Jimmy and Iruzi Iwar and Kung Yi Koo and Ernie Kim and JJ Walker and Sideshow and Hot Toys is putting out 2 months from now. Like, dude, like, that's what you grown ass men and grown ass women, and this is what your life is about insignificant shit. Because at the end of the day, that's not gonna do nothing to save you from this shit. Like, you have to have general knowledge. You should know and always be prepared, especially in today's ways of how things are. You need to always be on alert. Everywhere I go, I look around and I always know what's going on, because you never know, man. You go into a movie theater, sit down with your family, next you get some crazy. I see somebody get up a certain way. I tell my kids to leave, and I may call the police or go and investigate. If I see something that a person may not have, I might choke the shit out of them, even if they're an undercover cop. You're showing a weapon and you're doing something inconspicuous. So I'm gonna intervene if I can. You know why? Because at the end of the day, I don't. What I'm saying, you never know what somebody's about. It's just a lot of stupid shit that I catch. Like, I can't explain it, but I know it. I know when I know it. I've always been that kind of person to where I just always sense no danger, and it's just something just weird. Just certain weird vibes and weird shit. And for like over a year now, I'll be like, yo, something just don't feel right. Something feels so for real. Like, it's just weird. And for years, I've been trying to tell you guys and girls out there about this shit. And even when I used to be on the channel, I would see people's faces. Some people would go off the channel. As soon as I come up and Lewis calls me in on the channel, God rest his soul, especially a lot of the brothers from Florida and stuff. I ain't gonna mention names, but they know who they are. Ain't that many black brothers with light eyes from Florida. I mean, it is what it is. They were cut off. They were, sometimes, me and Lou would test people. He'll be talking to them for a couple of minutes, then we'll text each other, he'll bring me in. As soon as he bring me in, 4 or 5 niggas leave. Then for those who stay, and we'll start talking about stuff, and we'll start talking about current events, then I'll start bringing in my so-called conspiracy shit, and you see the stupid looks and smirks on their faces, and they be like, oh boy, here this nigga go with this shit. I don't need to hear this shit. And then they'll either cut off, or then the conversation get changed, and then it's like, oh, they'll talk about, do you hear what this crazy nigga talking about? Yeah, I'm so fucking crazy. Okay. So I'm the crazy nigga, alright. So my crazy niggerish ass, me and my family's alright. I know what to do. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, what if this is a biological thing to weaken people, then get people so caught up in hysteria, which they already are. You guys already are. have y'all motherfuckers panicking and going crazy, don't know which way is up, what side is left and right. What's to stop them from next scrambling up the communications? I mean, remember, during 9/11, you couldn't, if you didn't have Nextel, you barely had a fucking phone. And this is not for days, this is for weeks. Certain companies, because of the towers and stuff like that. 911 wasn't even working at times because it was too overwhelmed. And again, being that most 911 operators and officers were also in the city. I mean, you had people that could have been out there, if they weren't so terrified, they could have been out, thank God though, but they could have been out there raping, they could have been out there doing a lot more. Look what happened at the Superdome during, hurricane, what hurricane was that again? Hurricane Katrina. During, all them people, women were getting raped, people were getting robbed, bullied. It took FEMA 4 days to get water to the Superdome. People were asleep. They were getting people, police all around, rounding people up, having them go into the Superdome. And this kind of horrific shit was happening to them in the Superdome. People did die in the Superdome too. So let's not get it twisted. People were dying all over New Orleans because some people were too scared to go to the Superdome. There was no lights. There was almost no way of life. Nothing. Everything was just crazy. The governor and the mayor basically abandoned them, and we all know fucking Bush did the same thing. He wasn't no fucking better. You know what I'm saying? And this is just little insulated incidences. So, and then don't forget, even before that, you had in 2003, you had the whole Eastern Corridor blackout. So what's to stop this thing from being the first, and then other things coming right after that? You talking about catastrophic? Y'all sitting here, you can still use stoves and be able to feed your family and eat. But even if you got a grill like I do, and you have ways to heat up food outside of your stove, and worry about they shutting off your gas and your electric. But how much food you have to where you can feed your family? Till it gets to the point where you got to start bartering from people. Or it might be some kind of crazy ass shit to where everybody's starting to be like Negan from The Walking Dead. Y'all might be like, he's using a movie reference. Listen, y'all never know what the fuck is going on out there, and you guys are not prepared unless you guys are ready to fry up, stew, broil, bake, or boil y'all fucking statues and the hot toy figures and shit. I guess you be alright. Other than that, niggas should have listened to me. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm psychic. I damn sure ain't gonna sit here and say I knew that this was gonna be it. I knew something was happening and something was gonna come. I didn't know to what magnitude. I didn't know it was gonna be just a straight up, some kind of genocide created or whatever, or biological warfare. I just knew they was gonna try to do some shit so they can implement martial law, or as they call it, quarantine, having people self-quarantine. That's just another way of saying, hey, we're going to give you guys the opportunity to basically use your own martial law before we come in and strong arm you guys so you guys can physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually realize that, okay, now the big green machine is in front of you, and now we know that there's a martial law implicated, on our own cities and stuff. And that's and it's crazy, because if that's the case, then why is this country so great when for years y'all been sitting here talking about how great this country is, but at the same time you got places like Canada and so many other places that lead in school. They're not greedy. They get, saying everything is just so much different and better in so many other countries, but this supposedly be the #1 best country in the world. But here it is, Canada don't go through half the horrendous shit that this country has done, or still do to this day. And again, do I know and believe that this government has something to do with what's going on? Hell yeah. Do I think they're hiding a lot more shit from us? Yes. Do I think that this may get a lot worse than what they're claiming? Yes. Why wouldn't it? If that was the case, why are they closing down everything? I mean, they're losing money and shit themselves. So somebody did something that hit the fan to where they're like, oh shit, wow, we really fucked up this time. And now they sitting here trying to figure out ways and know that a lot of people may be in danger. I mean, it may get to the point where you might show certain symptoms to where you might come back. Who the fuck knows? You never know. People always talking about zombie apocalypses and shit. You never know. This shit may kill your ass and reanimate your fucking your body. I mean, anything's possible. Like, come on, we're in a global a global tantrum right now. Not a U.S. or a state to state little incident shit. This is global, all around the world. You know, people are dying and getting sick from this so-called corona, aka COVID-19 thing. You know what I'm saying? So you guys don't really know what the fuck is going on. Like, it's crazy out here, man. It's bananas. Like me, like I keep saying it because, you know, I'm prepared. I always prepare my children and my wife for this. I've been singing the same story for years. Maybe a different LP and different artists, meaning that, you know, different things. But, you know, even before 9/11, I already knew how grimy and fucked up this country was. I know this country killed JFK. I know they killed Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. I can go on and on and on. They killed Robert Kennedy. I mean, come on. They even killed JFK Jr. because they know if he ran for office, he was definitely going to beat Bush Jr. We all know that. That's why all of a sudden, that's a whole different story. I'm not going to even go into that. But a lot of y'all, you know, a lot of people are just upset and jealous because y'all look at us as conspiracy theorists, excuse me. But at the same time, we're realists. We're smart enough individuals that think, breathe, and do for ourselves to where we don't need to stand behind people and laugh at somebody because they have knowledge and they trying to help you and give you something, give you some food for thought. Because a lot of people out here are arrogant. You got a lot more arrogant sheep than you have smart scholars out here who are trying to minimize shit and at the same time maximize your thinking process so you could be able to help. You know, like to say, you know, each one teach one, or teach one each one, whichever way it goes. But you guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I do hope people be safe for this thing, but my grammar of caring and wanting doesn't really do diddly squat, because at the end of the day, whatever's going on is already here, and it may be some other shit that's going on that they just don't want us to know about. You know, and again, this just may be, you know, a way of isolating people so they can come in and bully, or they know what's going on. So when people are isolated, you know, they can't get to certain areas or do and help each other or really know what's going on. And maybe that's another reason why they're trying to get rid of media outlets. So that way, you know, saying we don't really know what the hell's going on, because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on. I mean, it could be all types of shit. You know, it could start off biologically, then it can end up on some next level cosmic thing. Like I said, you know, I know for years ago we had a comet that was heading for Earth. Why nobody's talking about that? I mean, why? I mean, how we know that? It could be anything. It could also have something to do with the climate. Like, it could be everything, just, you know, breaking down at one specific thing. Like, you don't know. You just have to ask yourself, like, why would a virus like this be so catastrophic that you have to shut down? You have to make sure buildings and, you know, federal buildings and corporations, LLCs are closed down worldwide. Again, not just a state-to-state type of thing, or just a U.S. or Central or South American thing, or Caribbean thing, or an Asian or European thing, but a global thing. That's something for you guys to think about. You gotta use your fucking head and realize what's popping and what's going on. Because at the end of the day, they ain't really tell you what's going on because they don't want to tell you what's going on. They don't want panic. You know what I'm saying? They don't want the people to go that much in hysteria. But at the same time, where everybody's beating up each other and fighting each other for a little bit of stuff that's in stores. You know, and, you know, these corporations and companies that have big warehouses not even sending truckloads of other stuff in because, you know, I guess they figure, you know what, let them get as much soothing and comfort as they can from the little that they do have, because what's going to happen and what's coming is going to be catastrophic. Like, you don't know. You know, I'm always with the coulda, wouldas, and what ifs. You know what I'm saying? I live every day like it's my last. And I've been telling you guys that for years too. But a lot of people are so arrogant that you guys always sit into tomorrow or next week I'm going to get this. You never hear me talk about stuff like that. Why? Because I cherish every moment. Because Nothing's promised to me, man. Nothing. Anyway, I'm tired of sitting here talking to y'all fucking idiots because at the end of the day, y'all, if y'all ain't listen then, you ain't gonna listen now. And that's the reason why I ain't telling people what they should do and what they need, because I've been saying it for years and y'all all look at me like some kind of crazy ass maroon. Peace.